And you have no alias, right? It's Bill Ottman.
Correct.
I know. All right. Well, welcome, Bill, to the Philosopher live stream. You could call it a podcast. But yeah, we just go live and we talk about different things like philosophy, libertarianism. And I'm really excited to have Bill Ottman here, the CEO and co-founder of Minds. So yeah, welcome, Bill, to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Great. Well, I really wanted to interview you because I've been a user of Minds since I first heard about it. I think 2015 or something is when you guys started. And I got to watch you guys just improve your software over time and expand and grow. So it's been really cool to be part of that journey. And for my work, one of the ways that people support me is through things like Patreon or Float or Subscribestar. But Minds as well has been a great platform for me to connect with my supporters. And one of the things we do every month is we have a monthly live hangout. So we just hang out. And we used to be on Google Hangouts, but I just felt really uncomfortable with all of our data going to the Google Cloud servers, and totally know that they're monitoring us, and who knows what data they will give to the government under gag orders. So when I heard that Minds had a group feature and you can actually do video conferencing through Jitsi, I believe Jitsi is another company, but they have end-to-end encrypted video conferencing. So that's actually been really great. We've been using it for like 8 months now, and the team likes it. And so, yeah, that's kind of where I'm coming from is I really care about Minds. I really care about the idea and philosophy behind Minds, which is to enable the free flow, spread, and sharing of ideas. Because if we live in a world where you can't speak your mind, where you can't together try to figure out what reality is, what truth versus falsehood is, it creates a really dangerous world, I guess, or platform where some of the most tyrannical or manipulative people can rise to power. So I really appreciate the philosophy behind Minds, and yeah, so that's where I'm coming from.
That's great. Well, I'm so glad that you're finding value, and yeah, our whole group chat and video chat feature, which leverages Jitsi, which is an open source encrypted video chat system, is about to like improve leaps and bounds. We're actually rolling it out next week. It's in canary mode right now, which is like our experimental mode.
Okay.
But yeah, so basically we're integrating with the Matrix protocol, which is an encrypted messaging protocol, and it's decentralized as well. So like there are other people running nodes all over the world, and you can kind of log into different nodes. But yeah, I mean, and then in terms of what you said in regards to like having access to the full spectrum of information in order to be able to, figure out what is true, that's just so important. I mean, it seems like a pretty simple idea that you can't know what's going on unless you have full access to all of the information. And that will include false information and all kinds of stuff. But if you don't have access, then that's sort of a non-starter.
Yeah, definitely. So I have to ask, what got you interested in the ideas of free speech and liberty? Like, was there particular things that kind of made you value it, or have you been a libertarian since you were a baby?
Yep, since I popped out. No, I mean, it's funny. It's actually a funny question, like it being interested in liberty, which, I mean, it's sort of sad that you even have to ask that, because you would think that being interested in freedom would be just obvious.
But natural.
Yeah, natural. It's not obvious though, and it needs to be talked about. And that's kind of, I mean, I've always been interested in it, obviously, but I originally was very anti-tech, to be honest, in a sort of naive way, like back in college, like right sort of before I started Minds.
Oh, interesting.
But then I became just fascinated by how there was like liberatory tech and like oppressive surveillance tech. And once I realized that there were sort of these two different worlds of tech,
right,
then I got really fascinated by it as for so many reasons, because of how it connects us all. And it's almost like an extension of us really at this point. And so, yeah, I think that we need it at this point in order to liberate the planet. And so that's why we're here. We're here to kind of do what big tech is doing in the opposite way. I mean, literally everything they're doing is backwards. The only thing that they're good at is like design. I think that they are good at building technology that people like to use, but the nature of it is completely corrupted.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That's really interesting that you didn't get interested in technology until you saw the different uses. Technology, as with anything, it's really up to the human being and what the human being does with it, and whether they use it for nefarious reasons or not. So that's really cool that inspired you to want to use technology for liberation.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't mean that I was like anti, like, I love video games growing up. I was as much sitting on, AOL Instant Messenger as
oh my gosh,
as anyone else. But like, when I went to UVM, which is a pretty liberal school, and just became much more interested with like offline live life, and wasn't, that was right as Facebook was coming out, and it just seemed really kind of stupid to me what was happening with everyone just sitting staring at their phone all day. And I still sort of feel like that, but at this point it feels like a necessary step, to be honest. Like phones are insane tools that are very helpful now, and we need them to communicate, and we just need to have self-discipline to not get addicted to them.
Right. Yeah. Like self-knowledge, or just making sure you're taking care of yourself and that you're not so like wrapped up in what can be a really addictive thing. Not your phone, but I mean the software and the apps and what's on it.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that that's the role that we want to take as a company, is like, we're not going to tell people what to think, or what is and is not true. And even like, we're just not going to tell people what to do, but I do want to help educate people on how to, live a balanced life, and, just how to research. But again, that's their option to even listen to anything that we have to say about it.
Right. That's true. That's one's freedom. It's just, the question is, do they have the power to initiate their views on you? So.
Right. So, yeah, I mean, I think that what's happening now, though, with just crypto is really starting to take off. And I do notice that things are shifting, and I just feel like it's our responsibility to have a competitive product that can get, the same job done that is getting done by, Instagram or whatever app it is, but in a more freedom respecting way.
Yeah, definitely. So what would you say are the main features about Minds that make it attractive for, let's say, like a content creator like me, somebody who really wants to get their work out there, wants to change minds, obviously, for liberty, but more so like attract new following, or connect with your existing following?
So a couple things. Like, for creators, we have this whole reward system where you earn tokens for your contributions and your posts when they get engagement. And then 1 token is pegged to 1,000 views. So you can use your tokens to boost your content for more views, which people love because, you know, the algorithms on mainstream apps are restricting their reach and you can barely reach anybody anyway. And actually, those are Ethereum-based tokens. So, you know, there's the whole Ethereum network integration with those tokens, which is very valuable. We also have a rev share system in Minds Plus, where basically, so, you know, rather than spying on everyone to make money, we have a product called Minds Plus, which gives you different perks on the network. And within Minds Plus, we basically take 25% of the revenue that we get from those monthly subscriptions, which is like $5. And we share that with the creators who produce popular content within Minds Plus. So there's this tab on the side of your navigation that's Minds Plus feed. The analogy that I would make is like, imagine if Netflix allowed you to upload films, and if your film performed well, they would actually pay you out at the end of the month. That's how the tech works. So you you don't need Minds Plus to use Minds. Like, you have, you know, access to, you know, basically everything on Minds without it, but you get access to this rev share pool within Minds Plus. So it's sort of like an exclusive feed that you get the ability to access and the ability to post into.
Oh, okay. And so is it kind of like a separate environment? So the posts there are different. Okay. So
it's a separate feed. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Awesome. So it kind of reminds me of like YouTube Red, where if you have YouTube Red originals, like you get some of their YouTube Red membership.
Right. Like, but the difference being that I think YouTube only allows certain creators to be a part of it, a part of YouTube for the rev share. So anybody who has Minds Plus gets access to it, but also the ability to earn revenue by posting into it.
So there's not the same gatekeepers, like social justice gatekeepers make sure that, you know, your content is in line with their political views. You guys are, you know, open about it. Now, I have to ask, like, what happens if there is content that people don't like, I don't know, like porn? I don't know. I'm not saying everyone doesn't like it. I'm just saying.
Well, it gets interesting. So in terms of like the normal site policy for all of the content is we have a First Amendment based content policy. So as long as it's within the bounds of the First Amendment and isn't like maliciously spamming the network or anything like that, it can be on Minds. It gets a little bit more complicated actually with Plus, and we're trying to find a payment processor to handle all the NSFW stuff, because like, we support NSFW. Like we want to provide tools, as many tools as we can, like for the NSFW community. But certain processors won't work with them at all. So
interesting.
Well, yeah, like Stripe, you can't do NSFW content. So we're trying to figure that out right now. But like, that's the good thing about the token as well, is that, you know, the token offers sort of a way, you know, we can't get demonetized with the token because it's a crypto token. So no one can censor it. So even if something happened with a fiat currency payment processor, we would still have crypto.
I see. I have to say, the boosts, I definitely want to look more into Minds Plus. That's really appealing to me. And now that you've explained it, I understand it a little better, because I did get the newsletter. I just wasn't sure of the difference there. But the boosts, I've used that since the beginning. And it's really cool that you can just sign up, and there's not necessarily a paywall. It really is just like, if you develop your own reach organically, you can earn tokens. It's a really nice, feeling of a fair system. And just like really accessible. The barriers to enter are really low, just make an account. And
yeah, and it's hard because people recently more so, and especially with like the rise of cryptocurrency, like there's more and more people who are basically trying to abuse the token reward system. And like there's all these rings of people who will come in and like upvote each other's content so that they can earn tokens.
Oh, right. It's not organic in that way.
No. Well, I mean, most people who use it are, you know, authentic, but like we're trying to find ways to protect the integrity of the system, obviously without surveillance and without, you know, KYC and like all of this, all of these partners that we don't really want to partner with. So, you know, typically the most effective measure against spam and scammers, it's called Sybil resistance. So it's like you put a financial wall, actually, because like spammers aren't going, or, you know, manipulators are not, you know, if you make them pay $1, they're not going to do it. So, you know, these are the kinds of things where it can get interpreted as like pay to play, but it's really not. It's more so like, you know, you understand the principles of like sound economics. So it's like you have to, if value is coming in from all the participants, then you can have much more confidence that the economic pressures are aligned. And it's not just, you know, people extracting value without any value coming into the system. So we are kind of playing around with some tools like that to make sure, you know, because actually the token rewards to all the good actors get diluted when all of these spam actors come in. So, you know, these are some of the things that we struggle with, but like, you know, you net everything out, it's been a vastly, you know, overwhelmingly successful system with the tokens. And you know, otherwise the things that we're focused on, like in our differentiators, like everything's fully open source that we do. Everything's totally transparent. Anyone can. So
we can read your code.
You can read our code.
Really
you can take our code.
Going. Right.
You can make your own app with our code if you want to.
Branch off.
You can start. You can compete with us with our own code.
Right. You really could. That's true.
There's some people who have tried, but and yeah, more power to them.
Yeah. Right. That's really awesome. I have some more questions. One is, are you yourself like a programmer? I know you're the co-founder and CEO, but were you also somebody who was helping to program the app and the website?
Not so much. I mean, I'm more like I've been heavily involved in the programming process and the development process and the design process. So like I am a product person. I do build the product, but more like, and I'm good with like researching tools and frameworks, and like I sit on GitLab all day, which is like a development, you know, a development tool. So, but I'm not doing the coding. It's not the best use of my time, nor So Mark, our CTO, is, you know, he's the superhero with the programming.
Oh, that's awesome.
But we work like side by side every day, and I'm constantly in Git, and so like
so you're overseeing the architecture?
Some people call me a developer, but like I'm not like writing code. I'm more like overseeing code.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
So but you have to be knowledgeable about the code. You have to be able to read the code, right? And be able to advise on the right architecture? Or is that more the CTO's job?
Well, I can advise on architecture, like macro architecture, in terms of like, this is what's going to help make us more decentralized.
Got it.
You know, these are some integrations that we should do so that, you know, have better encryption or blah, blah, blah. And I make recommendations to Mark, but like he ultimately would be the one who would decide if it's a good idea or not.
Okay. And he's the implementer.
Yeah, he's the implementer. And like sometimes I push things super hard and make sure they get through, and other times I trust his judgment and, you know, and the rest of the developers. So, you know, like the you know, I can like mess around with some front end stuff, but like it's just not the best use of my time.
Right. Hey, I love specialization in the market, right? Capitalism, So I asked because I'm a software engineer, and I'm just always really curious to know, like, what is it like for software engineering teams at other companies? So
yeah,
like,
I mean,
curious
I
about your
love
stand-up. So like
the process. Yeah, so I don't know if people know what GitLab is, but GitLab has really changed
heard
the
of
game
it.
for us. GitLab is
What is
basically like
it?
the open source alternative to GitHub.
Oh,
So
I
GitHub
see.
is, like a
Got
version
acquired.
control tool. Yeah, they got acquired by Microsoft.
Yeah.
And they spout all this sort of propaganda about how much they care about open source, but they
That's
are not
true. They
open
do.
source.
Oh, the code base for GitHub
No,
is not.
no.
Oh, that's kind of hypocritical.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, so GitLab is a big company and they have great practices. They have like a totally distributed team, and so we actually do all of our roadmap. We do like our road mapping, our project management, everything on GitLab. And now we're rolling out Matrix and our new group chat and video chat functionality. So like,
I'm excited for that.
Our process has been to like move our team onto Minds, like to use Minds and to use open source tools only as a company, so that we're like practicing what we preach in terms of what we use. Right. So but it's crazy. Distributed teams are what's going on, and it's working well. I think we have a small team. We're only like 13 people on the team right now.
Wow.
But hopefully growing
including
soon.
Yourself or just the software engineers?
Oh no, everybody.
Just Minds?
Minds.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. How many support people do you have? Do you have like Mind support?
Well, the thing is, we have so many community like volunteers who help with support as well, that like we have this perk that we wouldn't be able to do it without our community. So, the fact that we are open source means we get a lot of contribution that a typical company wouldn't get, because no one wants to help them, because what do they get in return? I think people understand the value that we're bringing, so they do want to help us. But yeah, I mean, we have a lot of growing to do if we're gonna compete head to head with Facebook. I
know you're talking about. They have a whole team just for like testing, for quality assurance, or a whole team for research I know it's a multi-billion-dollar company.
But that being said, like when Facebook bought Instagram, they had like less than 10 people.
Oh, when Facebook bought
Instagram had less than 10 people.
Oh, Instagram. Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Wow. So it is very possible to build like a product that's hit critical mass.
Right. And scalable.
Very small number of people. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, very cool. One other question, or I have many questions, but another question I have was, when it comes to the Minds token, you said it's a branch of the Ethereum token. Is that right?
Yeah, it's an ERC20 token. So basically,
could you explain that for those who, like myself, who may not be familiar with what that means, and if it means it's actually an Ethereum token or something totally
so like different? Ethereum is the blockchain, and Ether is the native token of Ethereum, and that's what you have to use to pay for all the transaction fees, which is called gas. So like if I send you a little bit of Minds tokens or Ether, then the fee will be paid in Ether, which is a small gas fee that gets paid to the miners for processing the transaction. Right. But honestly, most of the top 100 cryptocurrencies are ERC20 tokens. So the unique thing about Ethereum, in contrast to Bitcoin, is that you can launch tokens on top of it. Anyone can launch a token. And you could write smart contracts which, require that token in order to use. So Yeah, and then on like Uniswap, which is a decentralized trading protocol, you can swap different ERC20 tokens for each other.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's pretty incredible. So it provides so much flexibility. And I didn't know that nugget there, that like the top 20 are actually ERC.
I don't know what number out of the top 100 are, but I think it's like at least half of the top 100, I would guess, are ERC20 tokens. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So then all of those, they all are recorded on the Ethereum blockchain.
Right.
So the same ledger. And
Yep.
I noticed you guys have like MetaMask wallet integration.
Yes. So MetaMask
yeah.
is like an Ethereum wallet, and it also supports any ERC20. So it's what's called like a Web3 wallet. Web3 is this, Web2 is Facebook, Twitter, Google, centralized social media servers. And then Web3 is more like self-sovereign crypto wallets where you control your keys, you control your identity.
The individual does.
Yeah, the individual does.
It's very different. Yeah.
Yeah. So like Minds has a Web3 infrastructure where basically people can connect their MetaMask wallet or a number of other Ethereum wallets to Minds and like take full ownership of their tokens and engage in the app in certain ways and for certain functions like tipping and boosting. And you can do that on chain if you want. But the fees are pretty high. So it's, depending on what you're doing, it may make more or less sense. But
that makes sense.
So
okay.
So like,
go ahead.
You'll definitely want to check out the wallet and like connect your MetaMask to the new wallet, because you actually get rewarded for, it used to be you only got rewarded in tokens for receiving engagement, but now the reward system is 3 buckets. So you get engagement rewards, you get holding rewards just for holding tokens in your on-chain MetaMask. You earn every day extra just for having
in your on-chain,
just sitting there in MetaMask.
Like interest almost, like
yeah. And you also earn for providing liquidity. So we have this integration with Uniswap where you can basically stake the equivalent amount of Minds tokens and Ethereum into the Uniswap trading pair. And so there's like a whole Uniswap market now where people are providing liquidity and swapping tokens. And so you earn tokens every day for providing liquidity, and you also get free passive boosts for providing liquidity. So you'll notice that there's this sort of promo slot on the main news feed that has a blue border around it. And that spot is just rotating with all the channels that are providing liquidity and giving them like extra exposure. Because if you think like, what is value contribution to a network? Okay, it's obviously like using it, sharing information and all that, but it's also, if you want a market, you need liquidity. So when people provide liquidity, that's valuable to the network, and so we want to reward them for doing that.
Right. And isn't it also helping to keep the network going and helps the network to expand?
For sure.
Yeah, by providing some capital.
Well, we don't get that. So like, when you stake liquidity, you're not giving us your tokens. That's the cool thing. That's the cool thing about Uniswap. Like, when you stake into Uniswap in whatever trading pair, all you're doing is staking the assets into a smart contract, and then your balances of those assets will slightly fluctuate based on the trading activity taking place in that pair. But you can pull them out at any time and you'll still have the same overall value, but the balance of each side of the pair will fluctuate. So say you put in, just for the sake of argument, 1,000 Minds tokens and 1 Ether when you first go in. Then, based on all the trading activity that's happening during the time period that you're in, when you pull out, you may have like 0.9 Ether and like more Minds tokens, or 900 Minds tokens and like 1.1 Ether. Anyway, it's a little bit it's a little bit hard
I
to
want to like
explain.
research. I know. Well, I've never heard of Uniswap before, so there
Oh.
must be terms that I'm just not familiar with. But
you got to check out Uniswap.
Uniswap's
an amazing tool that we're leveraging in some really interesting ways, and it's totally decentralized. Okay. It's doing more volume than Coinbase.
Huh. Wow. So is this is Uniswap what's called a DEX?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Decentralized. Yeah, I need to research more. It's the whole difference between Web 3.0 and Web 2.0 is so fascinating to me. Like, it's a totally different sort of philosophy when it comes to building the technology and the infrastructure. I think blockchain's, an example of that, where it's trying to make the technology be the authority, be the thing that you trust to validate whether it's your contracts or that you traded money with somebody. It's actually really fascinating, the whole flip in mindset, where you're trying to get rid of the need to have some sort of central agency or authority that, a human agency that you really trust, and hope that they don't abuse it. So it's really quite fascinating times we live in ever since the internet launched. And I would say the internet has been quite amazing when it comes to the spread of information. Because like before the internet, you had television, which, high barriers to entry to get on the television networks or on the radio. So it's actually quite amazing that, when the internet arose, you now had like people who you probably would have never heard about in your whole life without the internet, and you can connect and see all kinds of people around the world. Like I don't know, like I saw this video of people in India in like a rural forest, and they're building like really cool homes just from raw materials that they have, but they're able to show that to the whole world with their phone and their camera and internet. So it's
wild. I did a calculation like a few years ago where if you spent your entire life doing nothing but walking down a line of people and trying to look at every person, and that's all you did for your whole life, and you never slept. And the only thing you did was just walk down and like look at people for like 1 second each. I forget exactly the calculation, but you would never, I think you would only be able to see like, I forget what it was, maybe like 100 million people or something like that.
Wow.
I don't hold me to that number. I don't remember. It was a small, it was a very small percentage of the population. And so the point of the calculation was to say that it's actually meaningful, the people that you do come across in your life, because you will never be able to look. You don't have enough time to even look at every person.
Yeah.
So, I like that idea because, a lot of times we don't necessarily appreciate, when we're seeing people, but it's like, wow, there's just no way you could ever know every human. You could never even look at every human.
Right. Mathematically,
yeah.
It's not even possible.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Which is a little sad in a way. But
that you can't know everyone and connect with everyone. I know.
Yeah.
Well, maybe I don't want to.
No, you don't want to.
Like Hillary Clinton or Biden. I'm like, no.
So I don't know why I brought that up.
Maybe it means a lot to you, and you think gratitude for your fellow human beings that you are close to.
Oh yeah, and
matters.
You were saying how the internet enables us to connect with all of these people, which is awesome. And but at the same time, life is really all about, to be honest, being selective about who you're giving your energy to and who you're spending time with.
Right. Yeah. So in this example, I reached out to you. I mean, one thing about the internet on that note is like, there are so many people, right? It is impossible to be friends with everybody. Like, even if you really want to, and everyone is worthy of your friendship, the internet's cool because you can actually like filter. And the thing about social media platforms specifically that I find really cool is, especially if they're like about free speech, like you guys are, is you really do give the individual the tool to have freedom of association, but also the tool to connect, like in real time, like just like that, if they want. So it's actually another way to enable that fundamental principle of liberty, which is like one of the things is like freedom of association, being able to choose who you want to be friends with. So yeah.
Yeah, but what is happening now is that we're actually being denied freedom of association on the mainstream apps because they're sort of fragmenting the world with
Yeah.
Certain people aren't allowed to have these opinions, or even if you are able to associate with certain people, you're not allowed to talk about certain things, and
Right. Or you're suppressed.
Yeah, and they're
and so
just
even
not
your
real.
own followers can't see you if they want to.
Right. And it's just all full of ideology, and they're doing a lot of damage. And the crazy thing about free speech is that it's assumed by sort of an ignorant group of the population that like if you're diehard about free speech, then for some reason you support like bad ideas, which is just
right.
sort of a
That's
bad
so
argument.
ludicrous.
It's ludicrous, but that's what they try to lean on.
Possibility of things you could say, so that's not even logic. Like you can't even possibly agree with everything that's ever possibly said. So anyway, like.
Yeah, no, but it's just an easy sort of cop out to,
of course, yeah,
to use that. But the reality is that people around the world who aren't in the US and like sort of more developed Western countries, they're so jealous and in awe of the freedoms that we have. And I'm not saying that our freedoms are great. I mean, we have plenty of problems over here, but internationally,
it's the compared to what?
Yeah, compared to what? So like people in Thailand, for instance, like we had a big surge last year of Thai users who were
right.
they were dealing with all of this authoritarianism and censorship in their country from the government. And they were I was talking to a couple of journalists over there, and they were like, so what's the deal with all the journalists in the US like being more censorious than the government? Like why are the journalists the ones who are calling for censorship in the US? In other countries, like journalists would never have time for that. They're like they're dealing with like human rights abuses and and like just real journalism.
Yeah.
And not to mention, they're not looking at the data that shows that the censorship causes more violence and extremism, even though, the big platforms think that they're some sort of moral arbiters. They are actually the ones, and there's research to prove this, that what they're doing is causing these amplifications of violence and extremism. Because what happens when you ban somebody? Like what goes through their brain? They go crazy. They think that they're some kind of victim.
They feel justified, and
they feel
it's like it kind of gives them evidence in their mind of, well, see, it's a conspiracy. My ideas must be more valid now. So they want
absolutely. So there's really no single thing you could do to radicalize all of the craziest people on the internet, then ban them. Like if there's one thing that you shouldn't as people, it is that. And there's plenty of reasonable people who are being banned too. So I'm not saying that everybody's getting banned is crazy, but it's just backwards.
Yeah, definitely. I just want to we got some super chats, so I just want to thank these people. So just thank you, Darius. Saw you on Ron Paul Liberty Report. Looked good. Yeah, that was cool. Got to talk to Daniel McAdams. He liked, it's called Bleep the Mask Order. He really liked that song. So That was cool. Thanks, Drew. Yeah, thank you. Nice job on the Liberty Report. Okay. And Bob Ballfish. I'd love to chat sometime. Keep up the great work. Cheers. All right. Thank you, Bob.
Nice.
I did not mean to click that. Okay. All right. Well, cool. So, gosh, we've talked about so many things. And I'm actually really excited for the encrypted chat feature, because that was one thing my Hangouts group really wants. Is right now we're on Facebook Messenger.
Oh, you're
really,
gonna love it. I'll make sure
yeah.
that you get up and going. It's that's what it's all about. Because if you look at, I mean, chat is the most old school, but yet just most core thing that we do online. People sitting, so, and that's why we're seeing like Discord and Slack and all of these messaging tools just blow up so much. And so, we've been working really hard over the last like 6 months to get this messenger going, because we've had this like really not ideal chat thing, which we're getting rid of. But it, I don't want to hate on it too much. It did, and it had its place, but
it allowed me to chat. It allowed me to chat with you, right?
Yeah, true.
Hey, it worked. Hey, basic functionality. You need the minimum viable product sometimes, Right. Resources are scarce.
Yeah.
But that's really exciting. So when do you think that will launch? You think the next?
It's up now. It's in, like I said.
Oh, okay.
If you go to minds.com/canary,
okay.
If you turn that on, then you'll see the chat item pop up in your navigation. So it's up now, but it's just not rolled out to the whole site yet.
Okay. Let's put that in the chat for people and myself in the future. Cool. Well, I'll definitely check that out. One of the things that I saw when I was looking through your careers at Minds was part of your, if you were to join us like a software engineer, every year there's like an in-person hackathon. Is that right?
Yeah. Well, not much last year, but we had been doing those, and like we went to the Ethereum Denver conference a couple years ago, and I think that getting out of the regular development routine and just having a couple days to get creative and weird and see if you can just break through some barriers randomly. It's really important to do that. There have been studies even on that.
Oh, that's cool.
That it's good for people's morale, but it's also just effective, because if you're just doing like what's on the roadmap day after day without really trying to find random streams of new ideas, it can, not be as productive. Sometimes the best ideas just come when you're randomly trying to find something.
Right. Yeah. Well, and for me, as like a big extrovert, I get a lot of like energy from talking to people. And so always in school, my favorite was studying with friends. And I always felt that I was more creative. I was more excited, more passionate when I had friends and their energy to feed off of and just exchange ideas or get that immediate feedback. You know what I mean? Like just be able to say an idea and you have several people who you respect and admire in their skill set and knowledge give you that feedback right away. And that increases like your ability to think of new ideas like more rapidly, because you're all kind of coming together. So I don't work for Minds, but is that an open event?
Hell yeah. You should come to the next one. I'll let you know.
I would just come and I just want to like see if I could contribute. That'd just be fun.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, we'll do one. I think I can give a little bit of a teaser. So I can't say the venue specifically, but on Broadway. So Broadway's basically still shut down. It's just barely starting to come back, I think. But we had booked a major venue on Broadway for an event.
Broadway,
in New York.
Oh,
no, like like Broadway, where like all the shows are.
Oh, wow. So New York. Oh,
New York,
New
yeah. So
Yeah.
we had a major venue booked to do like a IRL event with like conferences, just like
Your AIM abbreviation, I'm sorry.
yeah,
IRL.
yeah,
Sorry,
IRL
in real life. Okay, I got
in real life, yeah. But it got postponed. So we're going to be doing a major event next year at a major venue in New York City, and just doing podcasts and music and hacking and
and
all kinds of stuff.
music?
Yeah.
Oh, you're speaking my language. Well, and the hacking too, and the speaking and the podcast. Okay, wait, that's everything. I was like, okay, let me know. Jack and I would definitely love to come up. I mean, if you're saying next year, gosh, I really hope.
I know it's slow.
Up.
I mean, I don't
get it, but yeah.
With big events happening again, I mean, I hope so. I'm ready for it.
Yeah, us too. I mean, actually, one of my questions was, how was 2020 with all the shutdowns? How did it affect you guys? Like, were you guys not allowed to work in person, or how did you guys go virtual like a lot of companies?
Yeah, we're all remote mostly.
Oh, anyway.
A couple of us live around here, but yeah, we've been mostly a distributed team always. Like, there was, and we've had offices before for the people who are around here, but it was fine. I mean, I honestly prefer
pretty flexible.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. Did you see any increase in users last year, particularly? Yes. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'd love to hear about that. Like, what kind of trends did you see and around what time? And
I mean, it's pretty predictable, to be honest. Like, when Trump got banned.
Oh yeah, that was a big.
Obviously,
right?
yeah. I mean, there was the president got banned from social media, so yeah, we saw a big uptick around then, and we're just constantly seeing like steady growth, just because more and more people are looking for something like this. Like, it's not hockey stick type growth, but I'm hoping that we can get to that point at some time, but also because we're not willing to spy on people in order to grow, like, it makes it a little bit harder for us to grow. So most major social media apps grow through surveillance.
Oh, is that because advertisers pay for the information?
And also, well, yeah, they grow through surveillance advertising. Yeah. They, grab everybody's contacts and just like dip into everybody's address books. And so there's all, which I'm like, there may be ethical ways to do that, but they're certainly not doing it the right way. And so we're trying to figure out how to do it the right way, but we're not going to like take shortcuts. So it's going to be slow and steady.
Yeah. No, well, I love it. You guys are in the space. You're the new pioneers. I guess you call it Web 3.0, or just a new mentality of how you can use technology to enable trade and in the free exchange of ideas, which is part of trading. So that's really cool. Gosh, what else? I mean, I had a list of questions, but it feels more like a meeting when I do that.
Yeah, I mean,
like, what's on the agenda?
What do you think is going to be necessary for Web3 and alternative platforms to take over?
Oh, good question. Well, I mean, one of the things when you're talking about like, how do you like, as a creator, I do like the idea of targeted ads. I like being able to know that I'm maximizing the value of whatever, tokens, or if it's fiat that I put in to boost something. It's cool to be able to say, okay, I just want to market to like maybe people who like this page, or who like Bill Ottman, or if like FPC, because I do a lot of work when it comes to promoting gun rights and self-defense. If I could like boost a post that's like related to guns or something, or the Second Amendment.
I think I think that's totally doable, and because as long as the user is consenting and like has publicly opted into those tags or categories or whatever, then that's totally a reasonable, you know, I don't think targeting is like inherently evil or anything like that. It just has to do with like how the targeting is occurring. Like if you're following me around with my location, even if my location's turned off, or if you're following me around in my browser on other tabs that I'm in, even like Facebook follows you around in your browser, like everywhere. So they
even
know
if you're not on the page. So
yeah, even if you're on, even if you're not on Facebook. So that is like stepping over the line.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, one of the I guess tools or that I've seen when it comes to like how to have targeted ads, but respecting individual consent. I think that's what we're kind of getting at is like, okay, how do you make it ethical? Well, someone tracking you, even though your location is turned off, is actually, you know, you turning off your location is giving the signal, I don't want to be tracked. So if someone's tracking you still, that's actually overriding your consent there, you know? And it's easy to like forget about that because it's like your phone and you don't really like see it that they're tracking you. But I think of like Brave browser, and one of the things they do is they do give you personalized ads, and advertisers with them have the option of doing targeted ads as well. But the information about you as an individual lives with you in your browser, like locally, apparently. So that was an interesting way to me, and I actually used, you know, Brave browser, and I turned on the ads because I want to support them. I know that, you know, just like you guys, they have this philosophy of trying to enable individual liberty. So I thought that was a really cool way, and I've gotten ads for like my local town, like some restaurant or some plumber. So it was actually really neat to like get that experience, but no, it wasn't from Facebook listening to me when my phone's off. Like when I'm just having a conversation with my friends. Like the other day, we were talking about this this food delivery service called Misfits Markets, and they give you produce, and it's like super fresh farmers market stuff. And the next day, I got like an ad for Misfits Market on Instagram and Facebook. So that's like, I don't want to be listened to there.
Yeah, Brave is great. Everyone should use it, and you should use that plumber because that plumber's in your area and clearly like gets it.
So I thought that was really cool. So do you guys have any plans for that kind of targeted ads?
Yeah, for sure. Yep, that'll probably be coming later this year. And
cool.
Yeah, otherwise we're just trying to decentralize more. Like we keep asking ourselves this test of like, let's make it so that if we all get into a plane crash together, like it doesn't matter, like the network will live on.
Because some other people could choose to pick it up, you mean? Like and maintain it?
Well, yeah, but also just that you don't even need anybody to keep the network up. The network is like resilient in itself. And like that's what decentralized apps can do. They don't rely on anybody.
Right. Okay. Another thing about decentralization is this idea of not, you know, as a technology company or whatever, not even being in the position where you even have access to your users' data. So that if the government gives you a gag order where you're legally bound and not allowed to talk about it, you actually can't. You can just say, no, we can't. We don't have access to their keys or their data.
That's what it's always been like for us. That's why, you know, I was always glad that we always had encrypted chat, and with the new system, you know, we still don't have access, and I don't want access. And you know, it's like you just don't put yourself into a vulnerable position that can make it so that you have to betray somebody's rights. And luckily we're at the point where there are tools to make that a reality. So
that's incredible.
You know, can't be evil. Not don't be evil. Make it so that you cannot be evil.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. another thing about decentralization that I've been looking into is like the new kind of internet. You said Web 3.0, but I've looked into things like madesafe.net, or there's all kinds of projects out there of people trying to build a new internet where you own all your data, like from the get-go. And no matter where it goes, like that data has an identity and can be deleted, by the original like creator. Have you looked into anything like that? And is that something you're knowledge
I've seen Made Safe, and I get I haven't seen their product. I haven't seen anything like really usable. Maybe there's something, but like when I hear people like trying to reinvent the internet itself, sort of seems like that's a tall task.
I mean, it is. It is.
So, I think that the internet itself is pretty good infrastructure. I don't necessarily know that needs to be reinvented. That's why I like Web3, because it's like using the current internet and still achieving sovereignty over your data and assets. So, I also don't necessarily love like these entirely separate browsers that you need that are.
Yeah, that's what I looked at for Made Safe.
Yeah.
I can't go to my page that I have right now, like thephlosopher.com. I couldn't go to the Safe browser.
Exactly. Yeah. There's a couple of other decentralized network products that have their own browser, and you can only access like those types of sites through that browser. I just don't think that that's going to work, to be honest.
It's just not very accessible. No,
it has to be compatible. There has to be a bridge with the current internet, or better yet, use the current internet. And like Brave is doing it right, because like they're integrating with crypto wallets, IPFS, and different other decentralized protocols. So
like Tor. They have a Tor plugin now,
it just seems like that is more productive and embracing a lot of the great work that's already been done. And I'm not bashing these other projects, but I just it seems too much to ask. Like getting the network effects is super hard. It takes decades. So to just expect that everybody is going to completely ditch the rest of the internet just so happens to be the most popular thing that exists. I mean,
right. And with all the data that's already out there, like to reproduce the last 20 years of human knowledge on the internet.
Right.
Like it's just,
Yeah.
Let's Well, Made Safe has been around for, what can I say, like what, 10 plus years or something. It's still an alpha, but I really loved hearing your philosophy there. That's a good.
Yeah.
I see that. I like the idea of like, okay, what can you leverage the best practices now of existing technologies like Brave? They spun off of Chromium, Google Chrome. Right. They recognized that was a market leader in like whatever UI, people are really attracted to the functionality. It's pretty smooth.
And so they get to basically harness all the updates that are made to Chromium as time goes on, which is a great, I mean, similar to what we're doing with Matrix, like where, Matrix did a ton of work to build up this encryption protocol in this client. And so we're just harnessing that energy and hooking it in fully into Minds, and it's like teamwork. It works. I mean, it's going to take so much energy to build like a more ethical web, and it's going to take hundreds of teams working together. Like building your own thing from scratch is sort of like not productive. It's not to say never write anything from scratch. Like there's probably times to do that, but there's also times not to do that.
Yeah. I mean, what's faster, extending and improving an existing system, or really just starting all over from scratch and needing to like relearn and go over some of the same pitfalls that may have happened?
Right.
Yeah. Right. Well, I just scheduled an hour with you here. So, and I know it's Friday and it's a
Yeah, I
tech
gotta hop.
company, so there's
Let's do
other
it
stuff.
again. I would love to do it again, like in a month or two after, after you get on the new encrypted chat and play around with it. And
Okay.
so,
Cool.
and I would love to hear your thoughts. And I'm sure there'll be plenty of insane happenings on the internet between now and then that we can talk about.
Awesome. That sounds good to me. Okay. Well, thanks so much, Bill. Before we close, where can people follow you and keep up with Minds happenings and updates?
Yeah, hit me up at Ottman on Minds, and yeah, feel free to send me a message, connect. If you want to collaborate, let's do it.
All right. Sounds good. Okay. Well, thank you so much for your time. I hope you have a really good Friday and
Yeah, rock
enjoy
on.
the
Thank
rest
you
of your
so
day.
much. I'm a big fan, and
Thank you.
yeah, everyone follow the
Likewise.
Philosopher on Minds as well. If you
Oh,
can't,
thanks,
if you don't
Bill.
yet.
Awesome. Yes, everyone sign up on Minds. Let's have
All right.
encrypted private chats. Okay. All right.
Yeah,
Thank you, Bill.
rock on. Have a great weekend.
Did you want to say something?
Oh no, I was just gonna say, what didn't you say? Oh, because you said you were using Google Hangouts. Yeah, this is our mission.
Yeah.
Our mission is to migrate the Philosopher community to Mind's encrypted chat. And but here's the thing. I'm not like, only do it if it's actually good enough. I think it's gonna pass the test, but don't like, I want to hold
Don't lose
ourselves.
productivity.
Yeah, don't lose
because
productivity.
you
Like,
actually like it. Yeah.
It's not like a charity case. Like, I do think Web3 has a responsibility to be competitive functionally. So, be hard on me and
Sounds
us.
good.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Thanks, everyone. Bye, Bill. Take care. All right. Well, that was cool. So Bill dropped off, CEO, probably back-to-back meetings, I bet. I just want to end the call here and just thank everyone for joining. So let me thanks Scott, Duran, Alex, Scott again, Liberty Vegan, what's up? Will the Win, thank you. Jimothy Spooner, hey, thank you. Rika, thank you so much. Nice to see you. Cool. All right. Hope you guys liked that interview. I had such a good time. He really, based on all the interviews I'd seen of him anyway, he seems to be definitely a friend of liberty and someone who really values and is passionate about enabling individual freedom. So thanks all for being here. And I think I missed some. Let me just make sure I caught all the. Okay, I see. Darius. Okay. Bill, I need some advice. I'm an aspiring self-taught software dev and want to build a cool platform for desktop and mobile. Any advice on technical stacks and team building? Oh, interesting. Well, yeah, sorry, he's not here, but he seemed pretty accessible. So if you go sign up for Minds and at Ottman, you probably message him. He probably could give you some advice there. Another place you could look at is, you're saying desktop and mobile. So if it's like web-based or just like a mobile app, you could look at minds.com and their careers, or just like read about their technology and just see like what programming languages they use. So that could be, hopefully that helps. Thank you so much, Darius. Really appreciate it. All right, I think there's one more that I had. Okay, got it. So the belt. Okay, that sounds like whip out the belt. Okay, I just have that association from childhood. Okay, so would love to see an interview with Eric July, two of my favorite ANCAPs. Oh, cool. Yeah, I'd love to. I met Eric once in person at the Tom Woods 1000th podcast. So got to meet him there, but never have we been on each other's shows. Maybe we could do like a music collab one day. He could sing. He's really good at singing. He could also rap. Basically, he could do the whole song. Try to rap with him. That'd be fun. Cool. All right. Let's see. Mine's mobile. Please make it work fully on de-Googled phones. Yeah, it sounded like Bill at the end there. He said, I really like that he wants Minds to be competitive. Just following this idea that, like, he wants people to have the incentive and actually enjoy Minds, and not just, oh, it's so sluggish and but I'll do it because of the philosophy. It's like, you can have both and just always aspire to improve. And of course, nothing's going to be perfect, and it's always just, continuous improvement. So if you have that feedback, like you're fully, de-Googled phone and it's not really working well, I'm sure that he would listen to your feedback. So, yeah. Thanks, Rika. Yeah, fuck and scream with young Ripa. That was fun. Did you like my I did not consent? I was like, never surrender to the state. Sorry, it was never surrender. That's where I screamed. I've never screamed before. That was fun. Thanks, Greg. Yeah, that was so cool. When I got reached out for the interview, I thought, like, ooh, is this Ron Paul? I'm going to speak to Ron Paul. But I got to speak to Daniel McAdams, which was just as cool. So that was really fun. And yeah, thank you. They really promoted my work. I feel so honored that Daniel really valued my work, and he promoted Mask Order and my other work, Tom Wood's house. He actually posted that to Instagram. Well, I don't know if it's Daniel, they have a team, but it was posted to Instagram, and I just and Twitter, and I just felt so just valued for my work. So anyway, thanks everyone for being here. It's been a cool 5 years in general. And this was a really fun interview with Bill. And it sounds like more opportunities come with Bill. Maybe a hackathon in New York City. If hopefully they're open next year. Or maybe he'll come down to one of our pho events in Florida. We'll see. That'd be cool. Yeah, it's a good interview. Really liked the conversation. So hope you guys enjoyed it too. And I hope you have a good Friday as well and a good weekend. I'll see you next time. Bye, everyone. Bye, J-Ron. Bye, Rika. Bye, Gorilla Press. Bye, Eric. Bye, Charles. Bye.